Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, the 21st day of January. Here we go. Today we talk about clapping and dancing on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Let's get right back to the beginning. The rabbis of the Gemara long ago in Maseches Eruvin have taught us that we should not play music on Shabbos or Yom Tov, and the reason for that is because people would tend to tune their musical instrument, fix it up a little bit, and if they ever were to end up doing that while playing music, that would be called makeh b'patish, or putting the final touch on an instrument, and putting the final touch is one of the 39 things that we're not allowed to do on Shabbos and Yom Tov, and therefore they said no music playing, no instruments on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Okay, but then what happened was that they added on to it things like, so they said no bells, no rattles, and those kind of cymbals and those kinds of things also. And then another thing that got added by the rabbis of the Gemara, you can see this in Maseches Beya on Daf Lamed 30. They felt that any action that could lead to someone going and grabbing a musical instrument or tuning it and giving a quick fix or quickly fashioning something into a musical instrument, any activity that could lead to that should not be done on Shabbos and Yom Tov. And therefore the rabbis of the Gemara decreed that there should be no clapping and dancing on Shabbos and Yom Tov. So, there was a decree instituted long ago at the time of the Gemara that there's no clapping and dancing on Shabbos and Yom Tov because it could lead to fashioning musical instruments or makeshift things which you're not allowed to do on Shabbos and Yom Tov. What about today? And you probably do sometimes see dancing and clapping on Shabbos and Yom Tov. So here are the facts. First of all, Tosfos, right there, and other great Mefarshim say that doesn't really apply because we don't really have the talent that they used to have back then to quickly fashion a musical instrument out of something just because there's some dancing and singing, let me go quickly make a bongo. It just doesn't happen. People were better at that thousands of years ago at quickly fashioning a musical instrument. Most of us are spoiled and we go and buy one, a nice one, and then we use it. But we don't fashion makeshift instruments, and therefore the decree might not apply as much to us today because it's not as common to happen that people clapping and dancing are suddenly going to fashion a makeshift bongo drum or whatever. That's factor number one. Also, the Aruch HaShulchan says that they were really talking, when they said no clapping and dancing, they were talking about stuff that was more choreographed, fancier. And fancy clapping and dancing could more often lead to musical accompaniment and, fashioning a musical instrument. And that's the kind of clapping and dancing that should not be allowed. The Ramah says long ago, a couple hundred years ago in the Shulchan Aruch, that clapping and dancing had become prevalent and rabbis were not really smashing the custom, and therefore it kind of got somewhat accepted that the dancing and clapping that we're doing today for those two reasons may not be a big problem. So, here's the bottom line. If you look at all the poskim of today, they'll basically tell you this. A Baal Nefesh, that's a person who wants to be extra good about this and not fall into any sort of trap on this matter. An extra good Baal Nefesh kind of person will not clap and dance on Shabbos. And there are lots of people who adhere to that as a Baal Nefesh. It's not the strict law that they have to do it, but they want to because they want to be far away from any temptation to go fashion a musical instrument. And by the way, they do not say that about Simchas Torah, so you will see clapping and dancing on Simchas Torah by even very great people. But it is clear that a lot of poskim say that the dancing and singing that we do today, where you pretty much just walk around in a circle and bang your hands together, is not such an egregious offense, and that's why you do see the plain, ordinary men smushed in a circle, bunched together and clapping a little bit. That it can certainly be done according to a lot of the poskim, because that doesn't seem to be against the original decree. And but if a Baal Nefesh wants to be extra strict, it's certainly a good thing to try to not clap and dance if you want to adhere to that, and it will be a wonderful thing, and no one will look down upon it. It's just that you don't have to do that. And incidentally, there are people who, because of this, you may see them clapping backwards because they feel like if they're doing it in an unusual way, then for sure it's not going to lead to any fashioning of any musical anything, and that's why you will sometimes see those extra strict people. They will clap a little bit, and they'll clap in that backhanded way so as to say, I'm not even doing regular clapping. So that's the whole spiel on that matter. Hope that wasn't too complicated. Thanks for logging on. Don't forget that it's Rosh Chodesh, Tuesday night, and Wednesday is the first day of the month of Shvat. Bye-bye. Have a great Chodesh.